Hi guys, my name is Rachel Price and I'm here at All Fired Up, Richmond's original paint your own pottery studio, and I'm going to show you a technique today that we call confetti. Okay, so it's important to remember before we get started that when we're doing this technique, we need to make sure that everything is covered with paint 3 times over the entire piece before we put our confetti on. So one of the first things that I'm going to do is make sure that my name is on the bottom of my tile. And now we're ready to get started. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we have all of our supplies ready. So let's just make sure. First and foremost, we need a tile. This is part of my 365 tile project where I'm painting a tile every day for a year. So if you want to check that out, you can go to 365tiles.wordpress.com and check out some of the other tiles that I've done there. So we've got our tile, which is very necessary. We've got black glaze, as well as all of our different colors of confetti. So we have got yellows and reds and blues, and they're all named so we can see. And we've also got a black paint pen, and then some paintbrushes and some paper. This is going to help us out with our masking technique. And it also looks like I need some scissors, so I'll go get those. So we've got our scissors now, so we're finally getting ready to get started. I already have kind of done some initial sketching of the design that I know I want to do. It's just various different forms of 5s, which probably look backwards. And I've decided to go with this kind of more abstract 5. It's more curvy and just more attractive to me, so that's what I'm going to do. So the way that I trace out the shape of the tile is I just lay the paper on top of it and then just use my fingers to kind of pinch along the edge so I have the shape of the tile kind of indented in the paper. And then I can use that to sketch out the shape that I'm going to cut out without having to worry about it. So let's do that real fast. Alright, so I like taking advantage of as many of the corners and things as possible. We want to use our space kind of dynamically. So rather than just doing a traditional 5, I am doing more of a loose interpretation of it, so it has a little bit more movement to it, but you can do whatever kind of silhouetted shape you want. You can print out an image from the internet and cut it out like the silhouette of an animal or your child's portrait, that's what it's called. And there's just lots of different things that you can do with this technique. I am in the process of doing a series, and so I already knew I was going to be doing a 5 today. So I've got my shape here, all nice and clear. It doesn't really have to be perfect at this point because I'm just going to cut it out, and whatever it ends up being is not really a big deal. So I'm going to leave a little extra room from where it ends, just to give me a little space to work with. So it really goes off of the edge of the tile. Okay, so I've got my 5 shape that is going to mask my tile. This is going to keep certain parts of it from getting covered in confetti later on. But for now, we're going to get onto painting. This painting is really simple. Basically, all we're going to do is cover it 3 times with black glaze. But we're going to do the first 2 times nice and thick, and then while it's still wet, we're going to go on to our next step. So let's do that. I'm going to use this plate right here. You don't want to ever pour your glaze directly onto the tile because that could cause some problems later on. So I've got a nice thick brush, and I'm going to get to work on covering my tile. Okay, so that's my first coat. I need to wait for this coat to dry before I can go on to the next coat, but it actually happens really fast. So you'll see that it's a little more shiny in some parts. That's where it's still really wet. But when it's dry to the touch, which it already is over here, I can go ahead and start my second coat on that part. The bisque absorbs the moisture of the paint really quickly, especially on the first coat, so you do not have to worry about having to sit around for a long time. You can see that it's basically almost dry. Okay, so I've got my second coat. This one is a little bit shinier. It's not going to dry quite as fast. And this third coat is what's really important. So I'm going to explain what's going to happen here. As soon as I put on my third coat, I'm going to place my silhouette on top here. That way it'll be nice and sticky and it won't move around, for one thing. And then also the layer will still be wet enough that I can put my confetti on. So I'm going to go ahead and screw off the lids of all my confetti while that second coat dries. And I'm going to do kind of a rainbowish pattern with my confetti. So I'll go ahead and get those in order. We've got red, yellow, green, and blue. I think that's all we're going to do for today. So these are really great. You can see by looking inside that it's just pieces of dried up paint. Basically, when we get down to the bottom of a bottle of paint, we cut it open and let it dry. And then we chip out the paint that's left inside and empty them into these bottles so that absolutely nothing goes to waste. And it actually creates a really awesome effect, which I'm going to show you today. So this is our confetti. Made a mess. Alright, so let's put the third coat of paint on here. We want it to be really nice and thick because we want it to stay wet for a while. So I've got lots of thick, good paint on here. Okay, nice and thick. We're going to place our 5 on here. I'm going to set it down so I can use both hands. That is not going to go anywhere. See, not going anywhere. Cool. And then we're going to use our confetti to simply sprinkle over top. It's very exciting. I'm getting little chunks and big chunks in there. I'm making a bit of a mess, but it's okay because we actually have a confetti bucket that's just full of mixed things, so the people who want just a rainbow of colors all at once can use that. Okay, I'm going to move on to my greens. They can kind of overlap a little bit. I'm not really letting you see, but it's making a mess anyway. So. Alright, and our yellows. I can kind of crunch up the bigger pieces in my fingers. It's getting kind of dry, I have to hurry. You can only really do this technique with flat pieces because if it were sideways, obviously all of these would fall off. So this is best for plates and tiles and light switch covers and that sort of thing. So I just want to get more on there. Lots of happy confetti. Pat it down so it sticks nicely. These bigger pieces are going to come off anyway. And then, can't really show you, but I am going to let this hang out for a little while until they're really stuck very good on there. So let's hang out. Okay, so I think we're pretty much good here. I could just leave this paper on there, but I want to see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to slowly pull off my mask. And it actually looks really cool. It's kind of like a road through a rainbow field. I like it. So thanks for watching this video on the confetti technique. Hopefully we'll have more videos like this up soon. In the meantime, you can check out other techniques and ideas on our blog at getallfiredup.com, or you can check out some more of the tiles that I've done at 365tiles.wordpress.com. Thanks, and I hope you visit us back soon.